Really, the easiest way to find those is going to be to click subscribe right below us, so that way that you get alerted on YouTube whenever
Welcome back to Closing the Social Distance. We have chocolate milk once again. The finest fruit of the cow, except filet mignon. You're more of
which just is the cow.
Well, it is, precisely. This is. I can't decide between juice of the cow and fruit of the cow. I think in either way, chocolate milk is one of the finest and most refined products available for consumers. But we aren't just here to rhapsodize about chocolate milk. Now, you might be surprised at that, seeing as that's what I think at least a quarter of our episodes are about.
Or your speech in our episodes.
I'm just gonna. He really means our speech, but that's okay.
I do remember how much I loved chocolate milk in second grade.
Listen, be as a little child. You know, this is the essential truth. And
I'm not sure that's the right way to interpret that.
Listen, we could talk to Father Alabide. We could have a whole thing on this if you want to clarify.
Yeah,
I'm sure that this is what was meant. But in truth, one of the things we want to talk about today is an upcoming Mass, which we'll be offering, which will have a special intention attached to it. So you all will have heard that we're going to be live streaming our Masses and the Divine Office this coming weekend. Mm-hmm. So you'll be able to check it out online on YouTube and be able to watch it even after the fact. And so it'll be similar to our Triduum live streams, and they're a bear for you to set up, but it's well worthwhile insofar as it helps many people pray more intimately with us.
And really, the easiest way to find those is going to be to click subscribe right below us, so that way that you get alerted on YouTube whenever we're live.
Yeah. And there'll be all sorts of beautiful things to see. Like you'll be able to join the Liturgy of the Hours, our rosary at midday on Saturday, the Salve procession of the Friars at night prayer on Saturday. But one thing that I'm particularly excited about is going to be on Sunday at noon. And so we decided that we wanted to offer a series of special Sunday Masses, particularly for intentions surrounding this coronavirus pandemic and the concerns that are on everybody's hearts and minds. So, of course, we're fulfilling our normal intentions, the ones that people have already submitted and that were scheduled for the different Masses. So the friars are doing those faithfully every day. But we wanted to be able to offer this special Mass. And so this coming week, the intention is for healthcare workers and first responders, which surely is a worthy intention and one that we wanted to offer for the good of the church and for the good of our community. And so what we're doing is we're making it possible for people to submit the names of friends and family, or even just people they admire whom they know in our community who are healthcare workers and first responders. And we will print this list out and we will have it on the altar as a special way of remembering them in the part of the universal intention for healthcare workers and first responders. And so I hope that this is a way for people not only to be able to join the Mass on YouTube, but also to be able to really have a particular intention and prayer for these good men and women who are doing so much for us.
And there's a card that you can print off and send to whatever first responders you have in your family and friends.
Sure. Or you can email it to them. It'll be a PDF that if you fill out a name, you'll receive that PDF and you'll be able to email it to them or mail it to them, whatever you want to do for doctors, nurses, hospital workers, first responders, anybody like that. This is a tough time for those in healthcare. And it's a worrisome time because, not only is everybody worried about getting sick, but these are the people who have to charge into the burning building, as it were. They're the ones who are the first line.
There's not time to ask, is this a COVID case or not?
And it's a real tragedy when you see the shortage of PPE, you see the rate of sickness and death in hard-hit places like Italy and New York City.
2 months ago, I had no idea what PPE stood for.
Isn't it bizarre? We all just have this new language: lockdown, viral load. PPE is personal protective equipment, right?
Yeah, personal protective equipment.
That's right. So it's like gloves and medical masks, gowns, all the different things that would help protect a healthcare provider when they go in to help treat someone. And so there's kind of a global demand on it right now, so it's a little bit strained. But to return to this, noon on Sunday, we'll be live streaming this special intention mass. And we want to invite you all, if there's anyone in particular in your family or friends that you want to pray for, share their name, and we won't be circulating it. We'll just be praying for them in a particular way. There's no donation or stipend that we're asking for this. We're just offering this mass pro bono, as it were, for the good of the church. But it's going to be a Dominican Rite Mass, a Missa Cantata, and so it will be a little different than some of our other masses in the sense it's using this ancient form.
So Missa Cantata literally means sung mass.
Mm-hmm. Yes. So traditionally, there were different grades of how you would celebrate Mass. So the original form we call the Solemn High Mass. That's with a priest, a deacon, a subdeacon, the servers. Everything is sung. It's the most solemn and splendid form of the liturgy. And it's beautiful. It's kind of like a very elaborate ritual dance in a certain sense because of the movements of the ministers. And it's a beautiful way of worshiping God.
It's said of St. Dominic that he would most typically celebrate the solemn form.
Yes, no, absolutely. It's part of our tradition. I mean, in a real sense, we didn't have a category of things called Dominican spirituality. Our spirituality was the way we prayed. It was the ethos of prayer being very physical and also contemplative, of being scriptural and communal, like these different aspects of how our liturgy formed us. And so it's really cool to be able to access the forms that were used by some of our great saints, most of our great saints, which are part of the Dominican Rite. And it can help enrich our experience of the Mass as it's celebrated today.
Because the Dominican form of celebrating the Mass was set in the 13th century.
Mm-hmm.
And I think fairly stable from then on.
It was. There were Romanizations, I think. So because most of the church celebrated the Roman Rite, as it were, which isn't to say the Dominican Rite isn't just a part of the Roman Rite, but after the Council of Trent, most places would have celebrated what people call the Tridentine Mass. So a particular form and the rituals of the Mass as it was celebrated according to the Missal of Pius V, a Dominican no less. But he gave an exemption and allowed Dominicans, as well as a few other orders that had a particularly ancient form of the liturgy.
And it wasn't just because he was a Dominican, it was because these forms were much older than the other ones that were in use.
Yeah, it's true. And there was a particular beauty to it. But because of that, the Dominicans always kind of stood out. Our liturgy had more monastic elements. It was focused on the convent of friars or sisters, as the case may be. And so in many ways, over time, when we served in parishes or in other places, we would need to kind of Romanize in certain ways and add different things and adapt it. I could really geek out for the next 20 minutes and describe a bunch of different things that got added over 500 years. But the short story is the Dominican Rite is very similar to what people would call the extraordinary form of the Mass, and it's going to be a beautiful way of praying it. I lost track of your original thing, though, which is the Missa Cantata is not the Solemn High Mass. It's a step below it. The Low Mass is the lowest type, and it's a read Mass. So the priest reads it himself. He says it himself with the aid of a server. And the music is in the background, as it were. It's not an intrinsic part of it. Mm-hmm. The Missa Cantata for Dominicans is basically a Solemn High Mass without a deacon or a subdeacon. So it's the idea that it's solemn and beautiful, but it's a little simpler. So our novices will be the servers. We'll have Catherine Fishlock and Andrew Barber, our organist, providing the music from the choir loft. And we'll have Father Paul Keller preaching it. So it will be a complete experience. And I'm really excited for it. Not only for the intention, but also just the beauty of being able to offer the Missa Cantata, the Dominican Rite Mass.
Well, I'm sure everyone out there is looking forward to it, and we can't wait until they're able to attend in person.
I was going to say, we had a good thing going. We had monthly Dominican Rite Masses before things shut down, but hopefully we will all be gathered again soon enough, celebrating the Mass and being united as a community. But until then, I think it's good that everybody remember what I always end the video with, which is we're praying for you, so keep praying for us, even as we continue to remember you and your intentions at the altar. And so in the meantime, cheers, and we'll talk to you soon.